Hello and welcome to our show.
Okay, this is episode, how many?
12.
12 of Our Mind on Music. Oh. It feels weird when I got a toque and I'm doing ohm.
It feels weird sitting beside you. We normally sit on the opposite sides
I
of
like
the
looking in
tables.
your face, but now I'm looking at your face.
Yeah, right at you.
Yeah. Looking right at you, and we got the mic right in the middle. Everything's set up.
I'm not going to specify the year because you don't like me dating the shows, but it is December 1st, and I could have shaved off my Movember mo.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So I still got the mo.
So you're still collecting money, I hope?
We've been doing really well.
Yeah?
Actually, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
For the school or for you personally?
No, for the Movember, the organization.
Well, do tell. What are you getting? Are we shadowy?
Shadowy men for a shadowy planet.
Well, look.
Ding, 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 ding. The kids in the hall, remember their theme?
No, I'm too old for that. Usually people say I'm too young for that. I'm too old for that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy.
I missed out on Kids in the Hall. It was the 80s, right?
No, it was the 90s. It was the 90s.
The 90s, exactly.
I went to see the taping of one of their shows, actually.
Okay. All right. First things first. Let's talk about our guy. It's coming up later.
Okay.
The Pentatonic Way, which is
Neil
a website.
Santos, yeah.
Starring Neil Santos. So he's the star of our episode.
Star.
Yeah.
So Neil
has been kind enough to agree to meet us. We are now about almost 9 p.m. in China. Mm-hmm. He's getting up early. What time's he getting up?
It's going to be 8 a.m. for him.
Jeez. It's an ungodly hour.
So Neil, the idea of this episode is we're going to be talking about some of the different ways that you can improve as a musician. Mm-hmm. You know, if you are a musician already and you're thinking about how you want to go to the next step, the next level, or if you're an absolute beginner, you know, a lot of my students are absolute beginners, mm-hmm. you know, and I use a whole bunch of different ways to approach teaching them.
Oh, okay.
So, like, part of my job is to teach them standard notation, like a quarter notes and all those types of things, right?
Yeah. But he doesn't do that.
No. I mean, actually, it's one of the things I want to ask him. I don't think he does that. I think he uses charts and things like that.
Charts, tabs, stuff
Correct.
like that.
Yeah, that type of thing, which I think is perfectly valid.
We used to do the drum charts, too, in you know, when we were getting the karaoke tracks going, we were doing drum charts.
Yeah. I do that for my students sometimes, too. Neil is a graduate of Berkeley. He knows his stuff, is what I'm trying to say.
Berkeley is the place we all wanted to go to.
Yeah,
when I was a kid, that was, you know, a teenager. That's where you wanted to go.
That's super cool. The people that you would have met there and stuff like that, I'm sure he has amazing
And weren't you
stories.
saying that they have, like, really cool online courses now?
Yes, yeah. They're doing some really cool stuff. But basically, the reason I got in contact with Neil is because I saw this thing called the Pentatonic Way that he does, which is a way that he takes intermediate guitarists and tries to teach them how to do the soloing and the sort of the higher level stuff, past just playing the chords and sort of strumming along, you know? Mm-hmm.
What would you consider intermediate, by the way? I've always kind of wondered about that, right?
For this specifically, I'd say if you can already play the songs that you like, play the chords, play along with, you know, the Marty Schwartz videos, you can play along with those, you know, Marty Schwartz.
I'm a keyboard player. What do I know from Marty Schwartz?
What do I know from Marty Schwartz? And a lot of his lessons are like how to play just the chords for a song that you love, you know? What Neil is doing here is the person who can already do that, but wants to start to like actually make up their own guitar solos, and they want to understand better what you're doing higher up in the neck, basically. Mm-hmm. You know, that sort of thing, like understanding how arpeggios work and how you can work that into your solos, those types of things. Mm-hmm. And so I started thinking, well, that's awesome in terms of what I do with my kids. I do like a lot of score study. So I give them sheet music, and I talk to them about which parts of that will tell you certain information, the beats per minute, what the notation means for when to play and when to not play, and those types of things.
Yeah.
I think that's a perfectly fine way to do it, but it's not the only way that I do it.
But he says the pentatonic way, so I'm going to want to pick his brain about this because, you know, so when I'm doing a solo, I oftentimes have to make a decision between, do I follow a scale that matches, or do I follow the chord? What I'm saying is, you know, like, I could go to a pentatonic in A major instead. right?
Yeah, exactly.
Different mode.
That's kind of what I want to talk to Neil about, and as you said, pick his brain is to figure out like really what is why the pentatonic. But you were saying that when you were teaching improvising, right?
I do it in blocks.
Right. And
right. So the first, the minor third, and the fourth would be your one block.
Oh, okay.
And then the fifth, the flat seventh, and the octave would be the next block.
Oh, okay.
Okay, go ahead.
I have to thank the HenselPushers because I actually got mixed up in my facts. I'm going to call them that.
Quote unquote.
Quote unquote.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, actually, I put my question onto a bunch of social media, like nothing. And I thought, okay, I'm pulling out the big guns. I sent a message through Twitter to HenselPushers, and I said, can you please...
And Elon got back to you and said, hey, man.
He said, I don't know either.
Is this a conspiracy theory? Because I want to retweet
I'll ask the Hensel folks.
Go ahead, sorry.
And I just, honestly, I thought, I don't know who to turn to ask because I couldn't find the answer to my question. So I sent a message to the HenselPushers through Twitter. And they wrote back, like...
nice.
Yeah, it was really nice. So what I'd like to do is just read, sort of paraphrase this reply. Basically, the answer, the question was, did Fanny Mendelssohn write a violin concerto? Felix Mendelssohn's violin concerto is Opus 46. Hilary Hahn, who's an amazing violinist, it was her 43rd birthday the other day. And I was like, okay, we'll use her version because it's going to be her birthday coming up, you know? And so I found all these versions of this violin concerto, and I was thinking it was Fanny's. And I was like, all of these people have recorded Fanny Mendelssohn's violin concerto. Awesome, yay. Mm-hmm. And then I thought, wait, hold on. And I went back and I checked it, and it was Felix's.
Oh.
But I did think, because you and I had talked about, like, to what extent did they collaborate together? You suggested that idea about collaborating rather than...
I think I'm right.
Well, you're on the right. So...
What's...
I asked the HenselPushers. They got right back to me. They said, Fanny Hensel did not write a violin concerto. So that, thank you. That's just clear, and I appreciate that, really. But she did help Felix with a lot of his compositions, especially while he was living in Berlin through 1830. She continued to give him feedback on his work when he was living in other places in
London.
He
was in Leipzig. What?
It's not.
Oh, it's Leipzig?
Leipzig.
I got to get that right.
And then there was a summer that Fanny Mendelssohn and her husband Wilhelm spent with Ferdinand David, who was a friend of hers. Fanny and her husband spent a summer with Felix and his wife Cecile, whose image, by the way, is often used on Google as Fanny Mendelssohn.
Oh, really?
But it's not her.
That's hilarious.
Like, it's the wrong lady.
Wow.
So anyway, the melody of the violin concerto came to Felix in the summer of 1838. That's 6 years before he completed it. Mm-hmm. It's very likely because the Felix and Fanny and their spouses were spending time together. Probably she was helping to collaborate a lot on that.
Okay.
And one of the things that it says in here, which I love, is it's not surprising that the melody came to him at this time because of the creative environment that the two, as in Fanny and Felix, were able to create when living together. Mm-hmm. And that's something we talked about when they were, even as kids. Yeah. They really...
Symbiotic.
Yeah, they really worked together and inspired each other.
Kind of like you and me.
Very much like that.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm saying is I made a mistake. I posted something that said in episode 11 that it was Fanny Mendelssohn's...
It was fake news. That's what he did.
Fake news is what I did.
Posting fake news.
Fanny Mendelssohn's violin concerto. It wasn't. It was Felix's.
Quite a shaming, really.
I made a mistake.
I mean, do your research, man.
I gotta straight to the moon. The sad part of this story is that then I just put in just a Google search Fanny Mendelssohn's work. Not much came up. Fanny Mendelssohn's compositions. She had 466 pieces of music.
And nothing comes up?
Well, something comes up. The HenselPushers. Oh, seriously, their website.
I mean, nothing against them, but
yeah, no, exactly. Francine van der Heijden has some recordings of Fanny Mendelssohn's music, and And the HenselPushers, really, that's like, there's not a whole lot.
We will make it our things to do.
You know,
to pull off as a part of this.
I'm a man on a mission. Yeah, go ahead.
Is to get Fanny's stuff better known.
Agreed.
Do we need to? Okay, so
Somebody's gonna have to go pick that up.
We got to go with Neil.